Hi, and welcome to Rory and Phil's Hiking Adventures. Today, you join us following the Uttoxeter Canal in Staffordshire. Here, you can see a map of the original canal's route, where it started at Alton Wharf as an arm of the Carrington Canal, which then fed down into Uttoxeter. You may also notice on the map a red line. This is that should the canal ever be reopened, it would have to divert due to a new infrastructure taking the old canal's route. Anyway, back to today's walk. We shall start at Alton Station. Along the walk, some of the points of interest we're going to include Alton Wharf, 70 Bridge, Carrington's Lock and Crumpwood Weir, which is where we will end the walk before heading back. We start at Alton Station. As before the railway took over, this would have been a canal tunnel. Along the route, only when the railway took over did everything from the canal got dismantled, or so you think. As we exit the station, you will see a reinstated milepost, a site that would have been along the canal's towpath, and from here we veer away from the railway and follow along the canal's edge. You'll also note that as we travel along, some sections do still hold water. Here we come to what seems to have been a breach in the towpath. The railway line comes back into view here, with a lovely old bridge span across the waterway. Alton Wharf was a rediscovered area. Lined by the stone wall, this would have served the estate of Alton Towers, which sits at the top of the hill above the canal. And shortly from here, we rejoin the railway for a short time. As we hit a stop, you can see that the canal is actually quite full here. So we're going to take a deviation to the right through this old pedestrian crossing gate, which was here back in the times of the railway. Just before we do leave, if you look back, we can see that the path crosses the canal path and it heads up to the right hand side. This takes us to the Alton Towers estate. From here, we deviate away from the railway onto the rediscovered loop of the canal, as this was undisturbed by the railway, so it managed to survive. This will lead us to 70 Bridge. You really get a great perspective of the canal from here, as it's still in water and the views are just gorgeous, as you can imagine traversing down on a canal boat, as in the distance 70 Bridge starts to come into view. We continue to follow the relayed towpath. 70 Bridge was recently refurbished and shows original canal use, with the wooden board from when the ropes would have been pulling the boats with the horses to stop damage to the bridge. With the cobbled steps overhead, it's a fantastic refurbishment project and gives great views of the canal back towards Alton and ahead towards Crumpwood Weir. A water treatment plant also sits on this site now, with an access road which you can follow as you see the canal follow to your left. Up ahead, the canal bears into the road, where it is severed as shown by the white bollards. But not all is lost as we head towards Carrington's lock. The bollards actually pinpoint the remains of the lock, just hidden away in the bracken. There's even a bench made to replicate a lock gate. We now press ahead, through where the lock used to sit, towards Crumpwood Weir. From here we trace the end of the lock, as it would have traversed down the canal in this section that is actually quite still in water, so it gives a great glimpse of what the canal would have actually looked like back in the day. As we now head down towards this last final section, towards Crumpwood Weir. Crumpwood Weir comes into view. Here the canal would glide across the weir towards the following lock, which is actually the same structure ahead. To the right you have the river also flowing down and over the weir. And this is where we leave our journey for today. And on our way back, you get some great views of Alton Castle. And a perfect return through Alton Tunnel back towards where we started. I hope you enjoyed our walk through some of the history, and you may even venture down and explore Uttoxeter Canal for yourself soon. Please like, subscribe for when we post our future adventures. Thanks again.